When the narcissist knows they have lost you, the narcissist hasn't lost you while you're still in their grip. And you're still in their grip as long as they have an influence over you, whether or not you're actively in their life. As long as they have some leverage, some control over you, then they still feel you're in their grip. So what does that mean? Even if things broke apart between you two, it doesn't really matter who would have discarded who. As long as you're still devastated, as long as you're still missing them, tremendously perhaps, as long as you are needy for them, they haven't lost their grip over you. When you're unwell, when you're feeling miserable because they're no longer in your life, then they haven't lost their grip over you. They have you right where they want you. Maybe you're still chasing them. Maybe it's otherwise clear that you haven't moved on from them. But it's when you successfully go no contact, or even if the narcissist is able to check up on you, if it's clear that you are okay with their absence, indifferent about them, then that's what sends shock waves through the narcissist. And the reason is simple. As long as they're able to have an influence over you, keeping you down in some way, they are putting you into a position of inferiority in comparison to them. And as long as they can keep you in that position, they are validating themselves. They are validating themselves through you. In other words, you are regulating their sense of self-worth. You are regulating their self-esteem because they have propped up their own self-esteem by pushing you down and keeping you there. After all, everything is relative for the narcissist. They're always comparing themselves to other people, and they compare themselves mostly to people who are close to them, i.e., the supply. And they must always be winning. In other words, they must always be better off than you. And that's exactly why narcissists so often come back just when you're healing, just when you're moving on, because they feel threatened. Their sense of stability is threatened, and they feel the only way to restabilize themselves is by finding that peaceful and tranquil place again in themselves. But they can only find that place again by putting you down. And that's why narcissists hurt people. Narcissists don't usually hurt people out of spite. It's usually to regulate themselves. But the end result is the same. They devastate you if you are a part of their life. And it's important to understand all that, because once you understand all that, which is actually quite simple, just a few basic principles of narcissism, then you realize that when you start healing from them, you must also erect strong interpersonal boundaries. There's little point healing from narcissistic abuse. There's little point working on yourself, working on your happiness, working on your successes, your career, your finances, everything that's important to you. There's little point in doing all of that if you're not maintaining and building strong interpersonal boundaries as well. Because everything for the narcissist is about perfect timing. And they come back into your life, or they try to come back into your life, just when they see how much you're thriving.